The great Indian epic Mahabharata has 18 parts. Each part is called Parva, and Adi Parva is the first part, which means the book of the beginning. It is believed that sage Vyasa sought help from Lord Brahma to write the great epic, and as per his suggestion, sage Vyasa lectured the story of Mahabharata and Lord Ganesha wrote it down. The story is described as sage Vaishambhayana, who was the favorite disciple of sage Vedavyasa, narrating the story to King Janamejaya about his great-grandfathers during a ritual offering called Sarpasatra Yajna to kill all serpents. Janamejaya was son of Parikshit. The story was about the kings of Bharata dynasty of Chandravamsha. All the important characters of Mahabharata are introduced in Adi Parva. Let us begin the story from King Shantanu of Bharata dynasty. Shantanu was the king of Hastinapur. One day he meets the beautiful river goddess Ganga and proposes her to marry him. She accepted the proposal on one condition, that she will not be questioned by the king at any cost. The king agreed, they married and lived happily. But later Ganga threw their 7 sons one after the other into river Ganga, and at last when Ganga started throwing their 8th son, the desperate king Shantanu asked her, "Why are you doing so?" Then Ganga took the newborn baby with her and left Shantanu, as he had broken the agreement with her. Years passed. One day Ganga appears and returned their son Devavrat to King Shantanu, and she left. Shantanu became very happy that he got a very wise, clever and talented prince and successor for Hastinapur. Later, one day, King Shantanu meets a beautiful fisher woman with a divine fragrance called Satyavati and fell in love with her. But Satyavati's father hesitated to give her to Shantanu, as he knew that the next king will not be son of Satyavati but Devavrat. Shantanu became sad. When Devavrat came to know the reason about his father's depression, he went to Satyavati and took an oath that he will never marry and remain celibate for his entire life. After this extreme oath, Devavrat is known as Bhishma, and he brings Satyavati to Hastinapur palace. Shantanu gives a boon of Swachamritya to his son, which means one can decide the time of their own death. Shantanu and Satyavati gave birth to 2 sons named Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Later, Shantanu passed away due to illness. Chitrangada got killed in a war with a Gandharva, and Vichitravirya became the king of Hastinapur. Later, Bhishma kidnaps Princess Amba, Ambika and Ampalika of Kashi kingdom as brides for Vichitravirya. Ambika and Ampalika agreed to marry Vichitravirya, but Amba refused to marry him as she was in love with Prince of Salva. So Bhishma returned her to Salva, but Prince Salva rejected her as Bhishma kidnapped her. Due to this intense pain of insult and rejection, Amba curses Bhishma that she will be the reason for his death in her next birth, and she committed suicide. Later, Vichitravirya dies due to unhealth. The kingdom becomes kingless, so Satyavati invites her another son, Krishnadvaipayana, popularly known as Vedavyasa, to Hastinapur. Vedavyasa was born from sage Parashara in Satyavati before her marriage with Shantanu. Sage Vyasa gives a son Dhritarashtra in Ambika and another son Pandu in Ambalika. Dhritarashtra was blind by birth and Pandu was a pale-skinned one. So he approaches a maid for a healthy child and got a healthy son, Vidura. Then sage Vyasa returns to forest for penance. Bhishma takes care of the responsibility of these 3 kids and their education. The royal Guru Kripacharya teaches them. As Dhritarashtra was blind by birth, Pandu became the king but Dhritarashtra felt bad as he always desired for the throne. Later, as per Bhishma's decision, Gandhari, the princess of Gandhar kingdom, becomes the wife of Dhritarashtra. But Gandhari's brother Shakuni was very much disappointed to marry off his beautiful sister to a blind man, and he decided to revenge against Bhishma and Hastinapur. Gandhari ties her eyes closed forever after marriage as her husband was blind. This again triggers the anger of Shakuni against Bhishma. Pandu marries Kunti, the adopted daughter of King Kuntibhoja and sister of Vasudeva. Later, Pandu marries Madri, the princess of Madra kingdom also. One day, when Pandu was hunting, he accidentally kills Sage Kindama and her wife, who were engaged in sexual intercourse camouflaged as deities. The sage curses Pandu that whenever Pandu approaches a woman with desire to have sex, he will die at that moment. Pandu became so sad and he decided to go to the forest for penance. He gives his crown to his brother Dhritarashtra. His wives Kunti and Madri accompany him to the forest. Pandu lived with Kunti and Madri in the forest while Dhritarashtra and Gandhari lived in Hastinapur palace. One day, sage Vedavyasa visits Hastinapur palace. Queen Gandhari receives him with her immense hospitality, and thus sage Vyasa blessed her to have 100 sons. Later, Gandhari became pregnant and waited for the delivery with pleasure. In the meantime, Pandu was so sad in the forest as he could not give a child to his wives and he will not have a successor. Kunti understands this fact and she tells her husband about the boon she had already got from sage Durvasa, that she will be able to have children with unmatched qualities from any devas she wishes to have. But she did not tell about her son born before marriage when she tested the boon due to her childish curiosity. The son was born with earrings and shields from Surya Dev, the sun god. Kunti abandoned this son in river Ganga due to the fear of humiliation. In forest, Pandu became so happy when he knew about the boon and he suggested her to get sons from Devas. So she got Yudhishthira, the most just and truthful, from Yama, the god of justice. Second son Bhima, the most powerful, from Vayu, the god of air. And the third son Arjuna, the most talented, from Indra, the king of gods. Madri also got twin sons Nakula, the most handsome, and Sahadeva, the most wise, from the twin gods Ashwini Devas. Gandhari was pregnant, but she did not deliver a baby on time, and she came to know the news of Pandu and Kunti being blessed with a son. In disappointment and impatience, Gandhari beats her own stomach, and a piece of flesh with a foul smell came out from her womb, and she asked her maid to throw it away. At this time, sage Vedavyasa enters into the palace and tells the maid to cut the flesh into 100 pieces and keep it in a closed pot filled with ghee. The maid did so, but a small piece remained and she kept it in another pot. He assured Gandhari that she will have 100 sons. A few months later, a pot broke and a boy baby came out, but bad omens surrounded the whole palace when the baby came out from the pot. All sages and acharyas in the palace told the king that it is a bad omen and told to leave the baby in the forest. But due to his love and affection towards the baby, Dhritarashtra refused the advices and named him Duryodhana. Duryodhana was born on the same day as Bhima. Later, 99 more sons came out from each pot, one after the other, and at last, from the 101st pot, a girl baby came out. She is the only sister, Dushala, of the 100 brothers. At the same time period, Balram and Krishna were born at Mathura as sons of Vasudeva and grows up in Vrindavan as Nandagopa's and Yashoda's children. Dhritarashtra's children were called Kauravas and Pandu's 5 sons were called Pandavas. Kauravas were brought up in the palace and Pandavas in the forest. Dhritarashtra had another son Yuyulsu in a maid. Later, one day, when Pandu approaches his second wife Madri with desire, he dies because of the curse. Madri accompanies her husband in his death and Kunti returns to Hastinapur with their 5 sons. After Pandu's death, Queen Satyavati, Ambika and Ampalika went for penance to their forest. Kauravas and Pandavas were then brought up together in Hastinapur palace under the guidance of their grandfather Bhishma Pitamah. But Duryodhana, the eldest son of Dhritarashtra, and his younger brothers were not ready to accept Pandavas as their brothers, but always treated them as their enemies and tried to insult and attack them whenever they got a chance. But they could not touch the strong, wise, just, and talented Pandavas. Duryodhana treated Bhim as his main enemy because he was the strongest among them. Though Yudhishthira was the eldest, he was very soft-hearted and Arjuna was younger than Duryodhana. Duryodhana's uncle Shakuni also nourished his nephew's bad thoughts and made him an enemy of Pandavas, as Shakuni always wanted to destroy the Hastinapur kingdom. One day Duryodhana gave poison to Bhim and threw him to the river Ganga with his hands and legs tied. But Bhim reaches the kingdom of serpents, Nagalok, consumes Rasakumbh and achieves the strength of 1,000 elephants. He returns to Hastinapur with more power than earlier. Bhishma educates the boys well and looked for a great teacher for further studies in archery. At this time, Guru Dronacharya, brother-in-law of Guru Kripacharya, was visiting Hastinapur seeking for food and shelter as he was rejected and insulted by his childhood friend King Drupada. Bhishma accepts him as the guru of the princess, gives him a house, wealth, and other amenities. Dronacharya started teaching them archery in depth. Kauravas, Pandavas, Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama, and Karna was studying under Dronacharya. But after some time, since Dronacharya refused to teach Karna about the special weapons, as he is a Sutaputra, Karna leaves Dronacharya and approaches the Guru of Dronacharya, sage Parashuram. Parashuram was an enemy of all Kshatriyas. Karna tells Parashuram a lie that he is a Brahmin boy in fear of rejection. Sage Parashuram accepts him as his disciple and teaches him all special astras in the world. But later, Parashuram came to realize that Karna is not a Brahmin but a Kshatriya. Karna tries to tell the truth that he is not a Kshatriya but a Suta. But Parashuram curses him with anger that he will forget everything he learned when he needs them the most. Karna returned to Hastinapur with a heavy heart. Arjuna was the best student of Guru Drona and hence Drona liked him a lot and assured him that he will be his best student forever and best archer in the world. One day during a hunting, the princess met an extremely talented archer, Eklavya, who was son of a tribal king in the forest. They understand that he was practicing in front of a sculpture of Drona as his guru. Guru Drona asked Eklavya the thumb of his right hand as Guru Dakshina, and without any hesitation he cuts his finger and gives it to his guru. Hence Arjuna remains the best archer and the best student of Drona. At the time of the completion of the education of Princess, Dhritarashtra arranges an exhibition to showcase their talents in front of a huge audience. Pandavas excelled over all the 100 Kauravas and which made Kauravas very jealous. At this point of time, Karna enters, announces that he is a better archer than Arjuna and challenges for a one-to-one fight with Arjuna. But Drona rejects the challenge as he is not a prince but a Sutaputra. Karna became insulted in front of the public. Duryodhana admires Karna's courage to challenge Arjuna. To make him qualified to fight with Arjuna, Duryodhana makes Karna the king of Anka with permission of Dhritarashtra. So that Karna is no more just a Sutaputra but a king. But by that time the sun sets and the exhibition ends. Karna missed the chance to fight with Arjuna. But that day onwards, Karna became the loyal friend of Duryodhana. When the education and demonstrations are all over, Drona asked Gurudakshina from princes. He asked to defeat King Drupada, who insulted him, and bring Drupada as a slave. Kauravas went first, but they could not defeat Drupada and returned. Then Arjuna and 4 brothers defeat Drupada and brings him to Guru Drona. With pride, Drona donates back to Drupada half of the kingdom of Panchal Desh. The humiliated Drupada creates a son, Drishtadyumna, and a daughter, Draupadi, from Yagagni, using ritual powers to revenge Drona and Hastinapur. After the completion of the education, the eldest prince, Yudhishthira, will be crowned as Yuvaraja, which makes Duryodhana and his team very much jealous and started planning to kill them. Kauravas make a palace made up of easily burnable wax material secretly, beautifully decorated it, and sent them to the palace by the intention of burning it when Pandavas fall asleep. Vidura came to know about their secret plan through a spy and informs Pandavas. Before the day which Kauravas planned to burn the wax palace, Pandavas burned the wax palace by themselves and escaped through a secretly made underground passage. Everyone believed that Pandavas and Kunti died in the fire. Kauravas became very happy but acted as sad. Escaped Pandavas keep their identity hidden and dressed up like Brahmins and go to the forest. Then they reaches Hidumba forest. Bhim kills the demon Hidumba and marries his sister Hidumbi on her request. Bhim and Hidumbi have son called Kadolkaja, and later Pandavas leave to another village and live in a Brahmin's house as refugees. Bhim then kills Bakasura, who always disturbs, attacks and kills the village people. Then they leave to Panchal as per the direction of sage Ved Vyasa. Vyasa advises them to attend the Swayamvara of Panchali. During this travelling towards Panchal, Arjun defeats a Gandharva called Ankaraparna, renamed as Chitraratha, but leave him without any harm. So Arjuna and Chitraratha became friends. Then they reached Panchal Desh and stayed there as Brahmin refugees. The day of Swayamvara has reached. Many kings attend the function with the intention of winning the Swayamvara competition and marry Panchali. But Duryodhana and all other kings could not win the competition. Then Karna comes forward with confidence, but Draupadi rejects him as he is a Sutaputra. Karna go back with head down. Then at last Arjuna comes forward and wins the competition and gets Panchali. When they come back to home, Kunti asks without looking at them to share whatever they got that day. Then all Pandavas marry Panchali as they could not reject their mother's word. Kauravas came to know that Arjun got Panchali in Swayamvara and they are happily living in Panchal Desh, which made them so jealous. But Dhritarashtra invites Pandavas back to Hastinapur as Bhishma, Vidura and Dronacharya strongly advised him to do so. Pandavas along with Kunti and wife Draupadi reaches Hastinapur. The people in Hastinapur became very happy as they got their Yuvaraj back. Later, Kauravas thought of many plans to kill them, but at last Dhritarashtra decided to give half of the kingdom to Pandavas and leave them from Hastinapur forever. He gave Kandavaprastha to Pandavas. Pandavas, Kunti and Panchali are leaving to Kandavaprastha with Krishna. Kandavaprastha was a rejected, unfertile and useless land, but on Krishna's request, Indra makes a beautiful palace like Swargalok for Pandavas and make Kandavaprastha a beautiful and fertile land. Then Khandavaprastha is renamed as Indraprastha as Indra made it for Pandavas. Indraprastha became more popular than Hastinapur. One day, Sage Narada visits Indraprastha and gives Pandavas an important advice that they should keep a rule to live with Panchali, otherwise they may fight each other later. As per Narada's advice, they decided to make such a rule that only one person will live with Panchali for a year, and during this period, if another person enters in their privacy, they have to go for 12 years of pilgrimage. Later one day, a Brahmin approaches Arjuna and complains that his cows have been stolen by someone. Arjuna enters Yudhishthira's room, took his bow and arrows to get back the cows. But at that time, Panchali was with Yudhishthira, so Arjuna leaves Indraprastha for 12 years of pilgrimage. During this pilgrimage, he meets Ulupi, the daughter of Naga king Kauravya, and on her request, he stays with her for a day. Later, Ulupi has a son in Arjuna called Iravan. Then, after some years, Arjuna reaches Manipuram and marries Chitrangada, daughter of King Chitravahana of Manipuram. Arjuna stays with them for a few years and they have a son called Babruvahanan. Then Arjuna left Manipuram and travelled through the western sea and reaches near Dwaraka. Krishna meets Arjuna and takes him to Dwaraka. Arjuna meets Krishna's sister Subhadra in Dwaraka and fell in love with her. With the consent of Krishna, he kidnaps Subhadra and marries her. After 12 years of pilgrimage, Arjuna returns back to Indraprastha with Subhadra. Arjuna and Subhadra have a son, Abhimanyu. Panchali has 5 sons, one from each Pandavas. Later, one day, Arjuna and Krishna were roaming in the forest near Indraprastha. Then Agnidev visits them and requests them to help him to have Khandava forest, as he is sick due to eating ghee from yajnas every day. As Indra was protecting Khandava forest, Agni could not burn and have the forest, so he seeks help from Arjuna and Krishna. They accepted the request but informed that they don't have special weapons to fight with Indra and other devas. So, on request of Agni, Varuna appears and gives Arjuna a very special bow called Gandiva and a quiver which will never be empty. Then Agni started burning Khandava forest. An asura named Mayasura, who was residing in Khandava forest, requests Arjuna to protect him from the death, and Arjuna saves Mayasura from Khandava Dahana. Agni becomes happy and blesses Arjuna to get many auspicious bows from Lord Shiva, and Krishna gets blessing from Lord Agni for a lifelong friendship with Arjuna. The very first part of Mahabharata, Adi Parva, ends here.